Meesha Dogan, how are you?
I am doing well, Tony. How about yourself?
Not bad, not bad. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So, we're excited to have you because AI is constantly trending on Benzinga.com. Our readers can't get enough of it. And I don't know if you heard earlier in this event, our guests talked about AI, that it needs to be done right, and that when you sort of have this advanced technology, you want to use it for good. They had a healthy balance of both apprehension but also excitement as to what its potential could be. So for cardio diagnostics, tell us a little bit about how AI factors into the company's technology.
The aspect about how we use AI in cardio diagnostics is really exciting, and it's not just the conversions of the use of AI, but in ways we apply AI that is truly nuanced. So we're a company, precision cardiovascular medicine company, focused on the detection, prevention, and management of heart disease. And really, where our technology lies is to use the science of epigenetics, the science of genetics and artificial intelligence together. And the reason I bring epigenetics and genetics into this conversation is if you think about it, all of us are walking around with millions of these biomarkers and billions of these biomarker combinations within our DNA. And so genetic markers are the one we're born with. Epigenetics is the one we acquire through our lifestyle and environment, and they are dynamic. And one of the things that we know about these biomarkers is not all of them are relevant to all disease states, and therefore not all of them are relevant to heart disease. So AI becomes a critical tool in a way to do pattern recognition to say which of these biomarkers in the form of genetics and epigenetics that are critical to be able to identify those with heart disease, those at risk for heart disease, and to be able to use these biomarkers to treat and manage people. What is the biomarker combination? And so AI plays a really exciting role in the identification of these biomarkers. And also, when our clinical tests are applied, we do use machine learning to be able to interpret and aggregate these biomarkers for patients as well. And I'll take a step further in saying, one of the key areas when it comes to healthcare and diagnostics and biomarkers is they're generally not linear. They're highly complex, they're intertwined, they're nonlinear just in the nature of these biomarkers and these disease states. So AI really captures these nuances, and Cardio has really differentiated ourselves in building a platform called the AI-driven integrated genetic epigenetic engine, which is a platform that allows us to go back, continue to identify these patterns using AI across these millions and billions of biomarkers for various kinds of heart disease. And we do have quite a bit of IP layered on just in the nature of what we do.
So let's talk a little bit about funding in this space. Do you think that the fact that technology can be strengthened with AI, does that attract new investors in the space and perhaps more venture capital, more private equity money? Perhaps it attracts a strategic or two if people are betting that there'll be an uptick in M&A. Just this morning, there was a Toronto-based company, Pocket Health, specializing in AI as it relates to medical records, raised $33 million in a Series B. These types of news announcements didn't happen often in 2023 and 2022. So taking that into consideration, what does it look like in 2024?
Here's one thing I think we all will agree. AI is not going anywhere anytime soon.
Right.
And if anything, in healthcare, we're barely scratching the surface. And I say that as someone who've actually been doing AI for over 13 years. And I've spent over a decade of my work when I invented the technology behind cardio diagnostics, really looking at where AI used to be, using the initial tools of AI in healthcare, and now how much we've progressed as a company, and even our technology has grown over the years when it comes to the use of AI. So I think it's definitely a very exciting space. We get a lot of investors who are excited with our implementation of AI. And at the end of the day, one of the things I usually share is AI is a tool. The company has to be more than just a tool. In our case, the use of the domain knowledge and having that differentiated aspect of how we apply AI, where we apply AI, and what are we using it for, and how that integrates into the larger market and the broader population. I think that is the critical aspect. We hear about everyone using AI, but it's truly the differentiated aspect of how you use AI is what matters. And I think investors are starting to catch on to that because everyone can say that they're using AI or doing AI, right? It's
Right.
how you're doing it and being able to show something for it, I think, is what's going to be important.
Well, let's talk about how you guys are showing for it. I mean, precision medicine, like you said, is very complicated. Give us an overview of what it is and why it's so important.
When we're thinking about precision medicine, broadly, what we're saying is, we need to be able to better treat people. We need to be able to better help people prevent disease, manage disease in a more personalized, tailored manner. And we're doing so using different complex information of who we are, whether it's our genes, it's our lifestyle, maybe the medications we're already on, confounding factors. We hear a lot about socioeconomic status and social determinants of health when we think about health equity. And so all of these factors together do play a role in our risk for disease and maybe access to intervention, access to treatment. One of the key things we know with just diagnostics in general, in a way, developing really innovative diagnostics is only one part of the equation. Getting it in the hands of people and more people at a broader scale and being able to capture that market across the board becomes even more critical. So with cardiodiagnostics, if you're looking at all of us, we call our DNA our blueprint, and that's because it's so unique to each of us. And when we're thinking about personalizing medicine and personalizing care, our tools really use these biomarkers, that's the foundation of all of this, by, again, incorporating and layering in AI to be able to not just identify those at risk for heart disease or those who have heart disease, but take it a step further to say, based on these individuals' biomarkers, we're implementing AI to say, where are these signals coming from? How do we use that information to manage the individual, to treat them in a more personalized manner, and also monitor their effectiveness or how well they're doing with such treatment. So it becomes really critical when we're talking about precision medicine, and with heart disease being the number one killer, it's something that we really have a lot of stride to make as a country in our healthcare system. But also with cardiodiagnostic solutions, they are blood tests. And there's nothing easier than collecting a tube of blood, right? Our tests can be done fully remotely. You can collect a tube of blood at a provider's organizations. With employers, for instance, who we work with, we have mobile health clinics, so we show up on site. We're able to deploy this in community centers, in rural parts of the country, where you truly cannot get current technologies. Like, you can't set up a CCTA machine in the most rural parts of the country, but you can send someone, or you can send an at-home kit for a blood collection. So it becomes really important to think about precision medicine in the context of innovative healthcare delivery as well.
And you had some news recently, a partnership with family medicine specialists. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about that and why it's so important?
When cardiodiagnostics is thinking about our market and the use of our solutions, we're actually thinking as a company of all the major stakeholders in healthcare. When we think about the care piece itself, we think about patients and we think about providers. But if you think about it, about 50 to 60% of us get our healthcare from our employers, which means employers become a huge stakeholder when it comes to healthcare decision making. So do payers, so do certain types of provider organizations. So FMS, for instance, is a risk-bearing provider organization, and we started a partnership with them back in December. And it is public information that they're rolling out our tests to at least 1,200 of their Blue Cross Blue Shield patients. And as part of that, when we started it, they started sending in samples. We started going through these reports for their patients. They found it so highly valuable that we have expanded the partnership now. And as of Q2 of this year, which we're getting near, cardio will be expanding alongside FMS. So we will be present in FMS location in Walmart, which is very exciting because, again, when you have a highly scalable blood test that is not just innovative and can do really well in identifying individuals at risk, but it can be deployed pretty widely, a retail healthcare setting is probably where a lot of community members go, a lot of patients go. It's a way to get highly accessible care. But now with family medicine specialists in the Walmart location, you're able to get cardio diagnostics test seamlessly, easily, right? You're able to go to a Walmart location and get your blood drawn and understand your risk for heart disease or whether you have heart disease. So it's truly a new paradigm in the way we're thinking about innovating when it comes to cardiovascular medicine.
So that's pretty huge for you because Walmart, with its presence and all those retail stores and that all those locations and the foot traffic that goes into those stores, I mean, that's.
I wish we had an AI Tony to go ahead and wrap things up with you. We apologize for that. While we get Tony set right back up, I know you've got things to do as well. I really appreciate your time. And there you are. I was just saying we need an AI version of you.
Yeah, I was about wrapping it up.
I'll leave you to it.
All right. Well, I just wanted to say congrats on that partnership, Meesha, and I hope to follow up with you in the near future.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Always excited to have this conversation.